السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. كيف أصبحتم؟ أصبحنا وأصبح الملك لله والحمد لله، لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، له الملك وله الحمد وهو على كل شيء قدير. رب أسألك خير ما في هذا النهار وخير ما بعده. رب أعوذ بك من شر ما في هذا النهار ومن شر ما بعده. رب أعوذ بك من الكسل وسوء الكبر. رب أعوذ بك من عذاب في النار ومن عذاب في القبر. اللهم افتح مسامع قلوبنا لذكرك. اللهم آت أنفسنا تقواها وزكها، أنت خير من زكاها، أنت وليها ومولاها. اللهم أعنا على ذكرك وشكرك وحسن عبادتك. اللهم اجعلنا من الذين يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه. Ya Allah, please help us be of those who listen to words of admonition and execute or practice or follow and actualize the best of those words. Ameen. اللهم اجعلنا من الذين يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه. بسم الله الواحد الأحد الصمد الذي لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. والحمد لله حمدا كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه، حمدا يليق بجماله وجلاله، حمدا يليق بكماله في جماله وجلاله، حمدا يليق بجزيل عطائه ونعمائه. والصلاة والسلام على أشرف وأكرم وأنبل أنبيائه سيدنا ومولانا محمد الصادق الأمين الرسول المبين المبعوث رحمة للعالمين، وعلى آله الطيبين الطاهرين الأصفياء الأتقياء، وعلى أصحابه الغر الميامين والتابعين لهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. اللهم اجعلنا منهم آمين. اللهم افتح مسامع قلبي، مسامع قلوبنا لذكرك. Ya Allah, please help us open the hearing channels inside of us, of our hearts, of our souls, of our minds. Open to that which you know is good for us, of what we hear or what we experience, that which reminds us of you, your dhikr. Ya Rabbi, Ameen. Tazkiyatun nafs, the cleansing of our own nufus. And we are learning about its importance. Tazkiyatun nafs is meant to be, and I remind myself first and then you, the envelope in which all our lives are experienced. The envelope in which we understand our lives. The envelope in which we put everything about our lives. Everything else we learn, everything else we are exposed to is meant to be in this envelope of Tazkiyatun Nafs. Even when we learn other aspects of knowledge and we delve into other fields of knowledge, that we must never forget to keep it inside the envelope of Tazkiyatun Nafs. Whatever you read, whatever you study, of all different disciplines and different sciences and different aspects of knowledge, and whatever you observe and whatever you experience, don't be unmindful about remembering to lay it inside the envelope of Tazkiyah. In other words, you understand it, you interpret it, you analyze it by putting it inside the envelope of Tazkiyah, in the context of Tazkiyah, in light of Tazkiyah. Isn't everything related to Allah Azza wa Jal? Our existence is all about the divine manifestations. Isn't it that? And since we are meant to be always in tawhid of Allah Azza wa Jal, especially experientially, that inside of our qulub, inside of our minds, we are to be ultimately aware of Allah Azza wa Jal and His attributes. And since it is that way, then everything has to do with Tazkiyah. Because Tazkiyah is ultimately that my heart is in that state of tawheed, that ultimate awareness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala constantly, and that rich awareness inside of me of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His attributes. I must never live my life forgetting, and we do oftentimes unfortunately, forgetting or being unmindful of the fact that God is, that Allah is, of the fact that Allah is adl, just in the ultimate sense, or forget the fact that Allah is Rahim, all lovingly merciful. In this context of my existence and the existence of everything, I must never forget, as I live my life, the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Raqib, is all watchful. I must never forget the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all knowing. I must never forget the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all wise. وهكذا. That's living as a muwahid, as one who affirms actively the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Always. And that's being a Muslim in the real sense of the word. Aslamtu lillahi ta'ala. Aslamtu qalbi lillahi ta'ala. Aslamtu wajhi. Aslamtu qalbi lillahi ta'ala. Aslamtu ruhi lillahi ta'ala. Aslamtu fikri lillahi ta'ala. That I'm in the state of Islam. I'm in a state of internal surrender, internal loving surrender, free from everything else to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. My soul, my heart, my mind, my thoughts, my emotions, my drives, my likes, my dislikes, and therefore, consequently, my comportment would be consistent with that. Everything is to be put in the envelope of Tazkiyatun Nafs. Even whatever I do and whatever I'm learning, even if it were what we call nowadays, what is called nowadays secular fields of knowledge. Even if I'm, in my experience, now I know, if I'm learning mathematics or chemistry or physics or psychology or history or sociology or engineering, all of that is to be in the envelope of Tazkiyatun Nafs. And that I learn whatever I learn in this context, because this is my ultimate destination. I am a creature of God. أنا مخلوق لله عز وجل. أنا مخلوق لله عز وجل. As I live, as I think we said early on, I hope we did, that when we speak of arkanul iman, the arkan of iman, we must have arkan of iman. We must have that firm aqidah, that firm belief in the arkan of iman, as-sitt, al-imanu billahi wa malaikatihi wa kutubihi wa rusulihi wa al-yawm al-akhir wa al-qada'i wal-qadari khayrihi wa sharrihi. Kullu dhalika min Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What does that mean? That's how I begin. That's how life begins. This arkanul iman, they are actually about the context in which I exist. In other words, where I am. I am, then where am I? This is the reality in which I am. Allah, that I first, as I come to existence, as I mature as a human being, realize this, arkanul iman, and we teach them to our children before even they understand them, and many of us grow older without understanding them. This is the context in which I exist. First, I am in this realm where Allah is. The angels are. I find myself in this reality. هذه حقيقة. This is where I am. Arkanul Iman is where I am. God is. Angels are. God communicated with his creatures. Kutubi. Sent messengers, angels, and human beings. This is the reality in which I am. Al-Yawm al-Akhir. There is another existence of dimensions beyond this one. They are. And that God subhanahu wa ta'ala is in control of everything. In general and in details. Al-Qada wal-Qadar. This is the reality in which I find myself. This is where I am. Whether I like it as a mu'min or someone doesn't like it as a kafir, wal-'iyad billah, this is where you are. For example, you cannot ignore that you are in space-time and that you are bound by space-time. So you cannot ignore, and we must not, because it has to do with Aqidah. This is extra information for me to inform me where I am. And therefore, since this is the reality in which we live, everything I do must be in this context, in this realization, with this realization. So whatever I act or not act, however I act or not act, I must always realize that this is where I am. Allahu malaikatuhu, rusuluhu, kutubuhu, al-yawm al-akhir, wa qada'uhu subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is where I am, arkanul iman. Know where you are before you begin to act. If I am in Istanbul or in New York and I don't know where I am, i.e., I don't know what the rules are where I am, and I conduct myself in ways that might end up to be illegal. Know where you are. Know the environment. We all say that. That's arkanul iman. That's the envelope in which you're going to live. Make sure you never forget that before you begin to act. And that's arkanul Islam. Now you act. Arkanul Islam. Now you act. Pronouncement of Shahada, Salah, Zakah, Siyam, Hajj. These are the most fundamental and most essential actions in the environment as the environment requires it of Al-Arkan al-Sitt. The context, the environment in which I am, Arkan al-Iman, Arkan al-Islam, the essentials of actions consistent with what I am, upon which you build up. All consistent with where you are, the environment in which you are, Arkanul Iman. So I just wanted to remind myself and you of that. As we speak of that, we speak of the envelope of Tazkiyah. Tazkiyah, of course, is within now, with its action within Islam. The essentials of Islam, the arkan of Islam, and then there are obligations, and there are recommendations, and there are makruhat, and there are mubahat, and there are haram, more specifics outside of that, those essential aspects of those important obligatory matters in Islam. And Islam, remember now, is in the context of what? Iman, Tazkiyatun Nafs. And I must, because only she or he or she ends up with a qalb that is Salim, now is going to be enjoying then in Akhirah the divine company, to be in the suhbah of those who are in the suhbah of Allah Azza wa Jal. مع النبيين والصديقين والشهداء والصالحين وحسن أولئك رفيقا. That's suhbah. أولئك مع الذين أنعم الله عليهم مع الذين أنعم الله عليهم من النبيين. Then if you have the right suhbah in dunya, inshallah ta'ala, you will be in the better, greater, ultimate right suhbah in akhirah. The suhbah of, as Allah says in Surah An-Nisa, the Nabiyyin, all the Anbiya, the Siddiqeen, all the ultimate nearest in rank spiritually to Allah Azza wa Jal, in the company of the righteous ones, the saints, the salihun, in the company of وَحَسُنَ أُولَٰئِكَ وَالشُّهَدَاء, and those who are shaheed with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the elect of Allah Azza wa Jal, in this dunya, suhbah in this dunya, proper suhbah in this dunya, you will end up in that suhbah in akhirah. As I was saying, only the qalb that is salim will enjoy that suhbah in akhirah. And qalb is salim, as we learned, is the qalb that is purged and cleansed and purified from shirk, from kufr, and from the other ailments and diseases of the heart, such as, and I would like all of us to memorize all of these negative attributes, and you keep remembering them, and you keep imploring Allah in dua to grant us, to grant you refuge from that. So know them. When I asked you, give me examples, I would like everyone to enumerate them by heart. Many of them, you know them. If you don't know them by heart, if you don't think of them, if you don't implore Allah regularly to rid you of them and liberate you from them, that's not good. Shirk, as we said, is al-kufr, and al-kibr, al-ghurur, al-riya, al-khuyala, al-hirs, الحسد، الطمع، البخل، الجبن، البذاء، الجفاء وهكذا، الغش، الغدر، الخديعة، الكذب، الخيانة، قلة الحياء، قلة الوفاء، وهكذا and so on and so forth. قلب سليم, Salim, healthy, sound, safe from these ailments and more. So you ask Allah, we ask Allah regularly. I do regularly every day and every salah. And I enumerate one by one the diseases I know. And I am scared of them. كبر، غرور، رياء، وهكذا. بخل، شح، جبن، شقاق، كفر، حرص، حسد، طمع، غدر، خديعة، خيانة، بذاء، جفاء، قلة حياء، وهكذا وهكذا. اللهم طهر قلبي من كل هذه الأمراض وشافي قلبي يا شافي يا عافي. قلب سليم, سليم من هذا. And only such a qalb will be ultimately in that suhbah, in that company. إلا من أتى الله بقلب سليم. Except the one who ultimately comes to Allah when we leave and die from this dunya, we encounter Allah Azza wa Jal in the beyond of these dimensions, and we must encounter Him with the condition of our heart that is Salim. I must not live my life and allow to live my life and to die as a mushrik, as a munafiq, as a kafir, as a liar, as an arrogant, as a deluded, as a maghroor, as a cheater, as a conspirer, as a deceiver, as a wahakada, as a person without haya, as a person without truthfulness, as a person without yaqeen at all, as a person who has attachments to everything else, but not to Allah, not to Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. I don't have hubb. I don't have hubb love. I die without hubb love for Allah and for His Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam and for His Ahlul Bayt sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, or for His true beloved companions radiyallahu ta'ala anhum wa ardahum. I die without these things, and yet I have attachments and love to so many other things. That's not a qalbun salim. And I'm still envious in the violent way, hasud, and طامع or طموع والعياذ بالله, a person who still wants with intensity in a low way what others have, instead of feeling that he or she also should give and share and console the needy and the poor. وهكذا. إلا من أتى الله بقلب سليم. We must have that qalb salim. We must strive for it. فإن الله لا ينظر إلى صورنا وأشكالنا بل ينظر إلى قلوبنا. إن الله لا ينظر إلى صوركم وأشكالكم, says Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. God is not interested. He doesn't look at. He's not interested in the way your forms and shapes are, the way you look, so that you spend, nowadays you have in the world $1 billion industries about how to make men and women feel good by changing the way they look outside, especially sisters. You spend a lot of money in that. And man nowadays, multi-billion dollars about how to look outside, to make yourself look for the others, while inside it's bankrupt. While inside it's bankrupt. Ugly inside. Ugly inside. And I spend years and years buying and selling means to, quote unquote, make up. It's just a makeup. It's not real. It's shallow. It's 1 micron thick, 1 micron deep. Some put so much, it's 1 millimeter deep. 1 millimeter is a lot. Some maybe 0.5 centimeters. SubhanAllah. There was an incident years ago. It's in the news. It was in the news back in the States. Somebody in England put so much makeup, a male. He died. Put so much on the body that it intoxicated the body. It's fact. It was in the news. I didn't go through the details. It was not worth it. May Allah Azza wa Jal grant us lutf. May Allah grant us lutf. May Allah grant us lutf. نهتم بصلاح قلوبنا. We should mind the beauty of our hearts, the cleanliness of our hearts. Externally, we need to be clean and proper. Yes, na'am. But it's not in the way we are doing, in the way it is and it is becoming. No. That's why the beautiful secret in this, or beautiful lutf in this, Rasuluna Mawlana sallallahu alayhi wa sallam 14 centuries ago, they had mirrors, and he taught us when we look at a mirror to do something. When you look at a mirror, when you or I look at a mirror, why do we look at a mirror? Why? For the makeup. The way I look externally for others in the street and at work and in the market and in the school and kada and kada. For them. And for this meeting and that meeting and this gathering and that gathering. To do all of that for them. I look at a mirror. When I look at a mirror, subhanallah, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he taught us to be in dua, in dhikr of Allah through a dua. And the beautiful thing, as I've shared with some of you before, is the content of that dua. The meaning of that dua is so telling about what I'm sharing with you here. And he taught to say, as I look at a mirror, Allahumma kama hassanta khalqi fahassin khuluqi وحرم وجهي على النار. I look at a mirror and I am to say, Ya Allah, you, or as you embellished my khalq. My khalq, that is my external image, the way I look outside. كما حسنت خلقي, as you made me beautiful externally. And note here, when you go look at a mirror, you look at a mirror and you think, oh, this should be changed, this should be changed, this should be changed, this could be kada, this should be kada, this should be changed, this should be changed. You don't like it, it's not good. You don't like it because you think, you feel they don't like it. Somebody, when they look at you, will not like it. So this is ru'yatul khalq. Remember, just how they define you to you. That's how you feel about them. So this and change this. No, because this is not beautiful. It should be, if it were like this, it would be more beautiful, to the extent that people go through, those surgeries to change this and change that and modify this and modify that. Ya Latif. What do I say when I see myself? I say, I am beautiful, no matter who you are. Because it says, Hassan, you look at yourself and you say, Ya Allah, you made me beautiful. You made me beautiful. Kama hassanta khalqi. As you made me beautiful externally. I'm not asking you to change it, to modify it, because that's what you people do. Instead, the dua is beautiful. As I look at myself physically, I'm not saying anything. I should not be feeling something that makes me feel I am less. I am not beautiful. هكذا خلقني ربي. I am beautiful. خلاص. Allah made me beautiful. اللهم أنت حسنت خلقي كما حسنت خلقي فحسن خلقي. What I ask of you is make beautiful my khuluq. As I look in the mirror at my khalq, my external image, I ask for beautiful, not khalq, more beautiful khalq. I ask for beautiful khuluq. And khuluq is the way I look inside. My inner image. فحسن خلقي. Make me inside. Make my khuluq beautiful. Make my character beautiful. Make my heart beautiful. Make that beautiful. Because physically, you created me that way. That's programmed in the genes. It's the ribosomes will do what they are programmed to do, to build it the way they are programmed to build it. In shape, in color, in complexion, in form, and so on. I have no control over that. But what I have control of is what? My character. So I ask Allah Azza wa Jal for change in my character. As I strive, I ask Him. I strive, again, everything else. I strive, but I ask Him to beautify my khuluq. فَحَسِّنْ خُلُقِي. And this face that I might like, or I might not like, unfortunately, and I should like, I say to Allah Azza wa Jalla, this face, let it not be a source of hell for me. وَحَرِّمْ وَجْهِي عَلَى النَّارِ. And make my face, please, be forbidden to fire. Why does that mean? Why does that mean don't let my face, this face, be the cause for Jahannam? Because I might like it too much. And then I might develop with that feelings that are absolutely futile and irrational and unintelligent, of feeling better than others, or using it in ways that are crooked and vile and evil and haram. And nowadays this is in the world, the way some men and some women use their faces, their bodies, in terrible ways, to suggest to others to do harm and to do evil and to commit, wal-'iyāzu billah, things that are immoral. We have fashioned this and fashioned that, and this model and that model. exposing themselves, wal-'iyadhu billah, men and women, to spread more of immoral attitudes and careless attitudes of social relationships. وهكذا. This wajh, this body, please don't make it a source of fire in the way I am going to use it. Or if I don't like it, still don't make it a source of fire, because on account of what I'm going to do, to try to do, of terrible, improper ways to change it. And to change it means I don't like what you did to me. Astaghfirullah. Do you imagine that? That's a statement. You don't say it with the tongue, but it's a statement that means I don't like what you did to me. Astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. And there are some human beings who do say it that way. And that statement is a path to hell. That attitude is a path to hell. To accuse the divine, subhanahu wa ta'ala, and not accusing my own self. وحرم وجهي على النار. اللهم اهدنا, in another dua, اللهم اهدني إلى أحسن الأخلاق لا يهدي إلى أحسنها إلا أنت واصرف عني سيئها لا يصرف عني سيئها إلا أنت لبيك وسعديك الخير كله بيديك والشر ليس إليك أنا بك وإليك أستغفرك اللهم وأتوب إليك. اللهم اهدني إلى أحسن الأخلاق. Ya Allah, please lead me, guide me to the most beautiful of akhlaq. Guide me in my life, in my choices, in my attitudes, in my conduct, in my feelings. Guide me to develop the most beautiful of akhlaq. That is, guide me to be inside most beautiful as potentially you created me to be. اهدني إلى أحسن الأخلاق. I acknowledge لا يهدي إلى أحسنها إلا أنت. Again, this is tawhid, tawhid, tawhid. Nothing and no one guide to the best of akhlaq besides you. Not my efforts. My efforts are necessary. I don't rely on them. I don't worship them. I worship you. I rely on you, Ya Mawlai. لا يهدي إلى أحسنها إلا أنت. None except you guides to beautiful akhlaq, leads to beautiful akhlaq, and therefore creates beautiful akhlaq. واصرف عني سيئها. And simultaneously avert from me, keep away from me the ugly akhlaq, the non-beautiful akhlaq, sayyi al-akhlaq, the vile akhlaq. Keep that away from me. Keep away from me lying and cheating and backbiting and arrogance and delusion and ostentation and show off and lack of patience, lack of kindness, lack of compassion, lack of hubb, love to you and to your Nabi and to what you love, etc. Keep sayyi al-akhlaq from me. لا يصرف عني سيئها إلا أنت. Again, none besides you will keep that away from me. None besides you. لا يصرف عني سيئها إلا أنت لبيك وسعديك. لبيك. Now this is a statement of, you know what labbaik is? Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. Labbaik is an answer to a call. Come, labbaik. That is, I am coming with joy. Labbaik. Ibrahim. He didn't get it. Amir. Arjan?
Like buyurun, Turkish. Lebbeyk.
Riyadh? Khalid? When you call, Labbaik. Labbaik. So why Labbaik here? Labbaik wa sa'daik. All of this I'm asking from you, but I have answered your call. I'm working, Ya Rabb, I'm working, but I start first of all with you. You, the khair comes from you before my actions. This is tawhid. I see you before I see my actions. I see your compassion, your goodness, your help, your support, your presence. I see that before I see my work, which is necessary. Labbaik wa sa'daik. Sa'd wa sa'daik. You are the source of all what is khair and what is good and what is fortunate and what is privilege. Sa'd wa sa'daik. Labbaik wa sa'daik. Al-khayru kulluhu biyadayk. All virtue, all goodness is in your hands. You own everything that is good. Al-khayru kulluhu biyadayk. Wa sharru, evil is not attributable to you. Evil is not attributable to you. Wa sharru laysa ilayk. Number two, laysa ilayk could also mean shar will never reach you. In other words, to change you. It doesn't hurt you. It doesn't change you. وَالشَّرُّ لَيْسَ إِلَيْكَ أَنَا بِكَ. I am by you and to you. I was not, and I was made to be by you, and I shall return to you. This is the way I look at me in my relationship with you. This is what it is. أَنَا بِكَ. أَنَا بِكَ. What I am is by you. Anything beautiful I am is by you, but evil, if I do evil, is not attributable to you. It's me. It's my choices. أَنَا بِكَ وَإِلَيْكَ أَسْتَغْفِرُكَ وَأَتُوبُ إِلَيْكَ. أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. Tazkiyah al-nafs is so important that it is replete in the Quran and in the teachings of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And there are many ayat in the Quran and many hadith nabawiyyah that enjoin and command us to be in tazkiyah of our nufus. What I have elected to do is to share with you one of those Quranic evidence to emphasize the importance of tazkiyah al-nafs, which probably here all of you know those ayat. And that is أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والشمس وضحاها والقمر إذا تلاها والنهار إذا جلاها والليل إذا يغشاها والسماء وما بناها والأرض وما طحاها ونفس وما سواها فألهمها فجورها وتقواها قد أفلح من زكاها وقد خاب من دساها. end of what I wanted to quote. We stop here inshallah ta'ala and we'll resume in about 7 minutes. وصلى اللهم وسلم وبارك على سيدنا مولانا محمد وعلى آله الطاهرين وأصحابه الميامين والتابعين لهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين.